Guys, what's up? Before we get into this episode with our boy Jasper, I wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't yet, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So make sure you're checking out the breakdown on those platforms as well. Also, during and after this episode, let's have a goal to get to 10,000 subscribers on this channel. It's a great interview. You guys are going to enjoy it all. Just wanted to check in and say that. Now, let's get into the breakdown. Folks, we are back. The breakdown, episode 6, and I didn't come here alone. Of course, my co-host, my guy, FaZe Sensei in the building, but one more today. It is the content creating fitness guru himself. He helps your favorite creators get in shape. Today he's going to help us figure out our own diet and shape and maybe some other things. It's Jasper, how we doing, man?
Ooh, yes. Hey, thank you, Wade. I was waiting for the introduction. I was like, yes, let's go. I'm getting a Wade introduction right now. I love it.
Yeah, man. What's up, man? How you been? It's good to see you in here. Obviously, I don't think the people know this, but I've been talking with Jasper, obviously introduced through Sensei for a while now. But, man, it's good to talk to you. How you been?
Yeah, good, man. Pretty good. Just a very nice day today. It's been nice. And just got back from a couple trips that have been very interesting.
I've been calling this man's nickname right now is Jason Bourne, bro.
Literally.
This dude's been, I don't even know how much you can talk about. Can you even talk about the other one, your first
Yeah, I think
Jason
so.
Bourne? Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Before we talk about any of them, Jasper, why don't you give us like a for people that don't know, and if you don't know, I don't know how you don't, but this man is like I said, a fitness guru in this space. Talk to the people, give them like a short intro about what you do and what it is that and who you work with, things like that.
All right. So first of all, the thing that I wanted to say and that people should know is this: I am the reason this podcast even exists.
This is true. It's actually true, though. No joke.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Let's tell that
I
story.
was like, bro, you guys need to have a podcast. It needs to be great. And I love the name, the breakdown. I know we were talking about a name for a while, but I love the breakdown. It's the best.
It's so funny. I don't remember how this happened, but I think Jasper even came to me with it.
Yeah, because so I've been working with Sensei for like 7 years now, almost 8.
Forever, yeah.
And I told him, like, listen, this Wade guy is in the come up. He's doing so good. He's making so much content. You guys are both super into the space and very knowledgeable on the fact on combat sports and fights, and obviously very involved in the YouTube scene. Sensei was very involved, and in Wade you became involved more and more.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like 1 and 1 is 2 type of thing. I'm like, this makes so much sense because nobody's really talking about it as much as you guys. So why don't you do it also together and have like a weekly show of talking about updates and the things going on and get some guests on. So I told Sensei to reach out to you because we weren't familiar yet, and then Sensei just didn't do it because Sensei is just Sensei.
And then there are so many things that I would have never done if it wasn't for Jasper. There are so many things, like my entire YouTube channel, like most of my videos. He's like, bro, do a video on this right now. I'm like, ugh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
he scolds me.
So we're on 3. I mean, like I said, I don't know how much Jasper can talk about. We're on 3 different time zones right now. I'm on the West Coast, obviously. Sensei East Coast, and then Jasper's on a different time zone as well. I had to get we all like Sensei and I had to get up a little earlier and just to give like context to Sensei having, like you got to tell him to whatever. It's 7 a.m. on my end. It's 10 on Sensei's. I'm up at 6:50 ready to go. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I get a text from Sensei going, all right, I guess I'll get up.
Sounds like Sensei to me, honestly.
Listen, I was up playing Fortnite, then I fell asleep, okay, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and then I went back to bed, to get some extra snooze in, and here we are.
So anyways, as I was saying, well, to get a quick rundown of the past, I've been working with Sensei for 8 years. We worked on something together called FaZe Fitness, together with FaZe Climb back in the day. I had the same idea as what FaZe had at the time. I was just a FaZe fan. I just emailed them at the right time. And then I made a video response to Sensei's video back in the day, end of 2014. I kind of helped Sensei with YouTube and uploading and making sure that FaZe Fitness was ran like a normal YouTube channel and not like by some guy who never done internet before.
Right.
And I kind of finessed my way into FaZe in that sense. And then, I started working with FaZe a lot and with other pros and gamers. kind of our motto was to break the gamer stereotype, and then I kind of built off that, and I connected with a lot of other creators within the gaming space, leading to a lot of experiences and working with a lot of people, and then people like Tfue came into the picture, and now came recently back from Mr. Beast and KSI.
Talk a little bit about that. Like, you know, Mr. Beast is a guy that I think a lot of people look at as almost not even, like, I think everybody that knows him, which is, you know, a lot of creators now, because he's helping a lot of people out and you know, getting their channels on and doing stuff like that. But he's just a massive creator, and I think people don't look at him as like I think that's part of the thing too. You work with people that don't even like, they don't seem like real people. They're the top of the top, and then you don't really know like how they'd be in person. Talk a little bit about those guys. Are they just like super cool to work with? Like, how'd that go with Mr. Beast?
No, he's super nice guy, works very, very hard. It's very inspiring to be around those people and to see how they work and what they think about and like how they run their lives. They are, they look unreachable, but they're very, very healthy, normal, walk around the park guys.
Me and Sensei have been debating, you know, obviously the body transformation. This is a big reason that we have Jasper, not just because we like him a lot, not just because we have to roast Sensei for a good 5 minutes at a time, you know. That's easy stuff to do. But today we are, I would say, around 2.5 months away from a KSI fight. You just were with him. Can you give us any insight on just in your experience being there, like you said, for a couple days? How's that whole camp going so far?
The thing I would say is JJ is an insanely hard worker.
You hear about that stuff all the time with him specifically, about how hard he works. Like, he might not be, and this isn't like a slight to him at all, like it might not be that he's the smartest guy, he might not be like the, you know, whatever. I that stuff inspires me because I'm not the smartest guy. Like, I'm not at all. So when all you hear about JJ is just how hard he works at everything he does.
And he would tell you that exact thing. He would say, like, listen, I'm not the smartest, best, craziest, most athletic, talented guy. But the one thing you can take away from him is that the amount of hours he puts in. Same thing with his music. Like, if you listen to the music for a couple years ago and the music now, it's not a God-gifted talent that he just has, but just he just grinded and put the works and the hours in, and now it's a massive success. The amount of work he puts in, everything, that's so cool to see. So I'm sure he will do the same thing for the like. Obviously, we know he's going to do the same thing for the boxing, the opponent, and it's going to be very interesting to see. I saw some stuff that
I know. Hold up.
Really
so
cool.
since you saw him, I know you can't say much, but will tell us this. Answer this. How do you think, because you've seen me recently, right? How would you think a Sensei versus KSI sparring match number 4 would go?
Ooh.
I mean, the last time you sparred him, you had like a broken rib or like a bruised rib.
I know. But you were there for, I think, the first 2 spars.
I haven't seen him box when I was there. So I couldn't really give anything on that. The way that he's moving and his fitness is just very high. So I know
it's been a year since he fought. It's been a year since he fought, so
there's
so much progress to be had in that time. That's what I'm so excited for.
Who has been, and this is like, I'm not trying to, everybody that watches this, content creators, he's not picking favorites, but I do want to know who has been, maybe outside of KSI, one of your favorite people to work with, and then second question, follow-up, who has been your greatest success story as far as like the time you put in working with this person and the results they got, you really thought, man, that is like a labor of love for me. I'm really glad that I got to help that person in that way.
That's a great question. I would say the biggest one would be Tfue.
Yeah.
That transformation was just very viral and just came out of nowhere. And a lot of people were talking about it. That was really cool. I did feel like I played a big part in that. Turner, the thing about Turner is that he's an athlete, dude. He has like natural ability. Like, he's a wakeboarding champion or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's just naturally very good at stuff.
In your time with him, did he ever talk about possibly, because I don't know when you were with him.
Nah, that was just, I feel like that was because he was massive. He blew up in that time, so there's no way he had anything else on his mind but streaming. But the one I loved working with is Courage, and this is a very not public.
That's who I was thinking, honestly.
Yeah, Courage was.
JD.
I love Jake. I love Jack. Jake, Jesus. I love Jack. He's super nice. And we made some great progress, but unfortunately some other things came up for him that made it very hard for him to keep that going. And I would honestly think that working with Courage in person would work perfectly. Since I do most things, it's based online. It's based on a very big distance. So you're always with some people you're dealing with like, some people can do the stuff you say. If you say like, hey, you have to do this and this, they can do that by themselves. But some people just need someone there to tell them like, hey, we're gonna do this for an hour, and then you're good to go. Which makes sense, obviously.
Here's a question, Sensei. I don't know if you'll be able to speak more to this, but Jasper, I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm a Twitter head. It is what it is. But I be seeing sometimes, especially toward the end of last year, you started to get that itch to box as well. Is that something
I was just going to say.
Yeah, is that something you'd want to do?
I don't care about talking about this, but I got offered to fight Adam Saleh on the same card as the last Deji fight and the last Tommy Kenny fight.
The Showstar card,
but, yeah, the Showstar card. They asked me that 4 weeks before the actual fight.
How crazy is that, bro?
Now, granted, I've never boxed in my life.
Yeah, no.
I just look like I can fight. I'm just a guy in the gym lifting some weights, trying to look good. And then I got a call like, hey, Adam Saleh wants to fight you. I think it was 5 weeks. I got to give him credit for 5. But
against an experienced amateur. I know you were considering it. You called me right away. We talked about it.
Yeah, I was genuinely considering because I was like, it's a great opportunity to get back into the spotlight a little bit and like the experience. But everybody was just telling me like, listen, you'll get so messed up that it's just...
Yeah, because bro, you don't know what you don't know yet. Like,
exactly.
You can't make that decision until you spar and go through some hard spars. You go through some smokers. Then you're like, oh, what's this world, bro?
Listen, I gotta say, I went through training with JJ, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it, bro. The level of cardio of that. Yeah. It was just,
it's a different
fun
game.
thing. Deji was there too. Deji was at the training too.
Yeah. No, I'd heard that Deji is continuing, and I think they even posted him and Daly had posted. They're working. Listen, we all I think are rooting for Deji. I think that's like pretty. It goes without saying. We want the kid. We want the guy to do his best. That's just what we haven't seen yet is his best. We want him to do his best. So I'm happy he's still training. I really am.
Yeah, that was really cool. But
interesting though, you got offered Adam Saleh. I think it's probably the best idea you didn't do that one just because, like what Sensei said, you just don't know what you don't know yet. Not that with a year's training, you who knows, that could be a dangerous guy. Sensei, you'll have to be able to speak more to that. But
I mean, we hit some pads, Sensei, so you can tell about my skill when I wasn't.
No, he's athletic, so his feet he's got really good footwork. He's a fast learner, so those things he has. But like learning, if you're gonna go against somebody who has boxed, like I remember we were talking about Jasper, I was like, imagine, let's say it's flipped, like Adam Saleh. Let's say he's like a really good athlete in a different sport, but he's gonna 1v1 you in soccer. There's no chance. He has I don't care, 5 weeks, even like 4 months. He just doesn't know what he doesn't know. You're gonna set him up and take him into deep waters. He's going to look like an idiot. You know what I mean? Because you just know the game too well. So it's kind of like the same thing. Even though you have those attributes, to verse someone like that to start in 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's crazy. No,
the fact that he even asked it is crazy.
Yeah, the thing was like, hey, listen, it's like, okay, you get messed up, but at the same time, you get on the card, you get to experience that, you get to get some promo out of it.
I can attribute to them setting up fights late. I think this is the first time I've said this publicly, but let's just say I was being consulted for matchmaking, and I had wanted no part of it. They were asking me who they should set up. I told them once when they first started booking the card, I told them get JMX on the card. I told them to get Jay Swingler on the card, and I left it at that. I was like, I'm not doing any more of this because they were reaching out. Yo, you think we can get... I mean, some of the matchups were wild. I mean, the experience levels, it sounded a lot like that, like Adam Saleh, Jasper, Josh Bruckner, and a guy that had never fought. And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna get someone killed? Like, this is I'm not about to be a part of this."
Yeah, what the heck, bro?
So I heard that they were doing that stuff like up until 2 weeks before. I mean, they put Anthony Taylor on the card the week of the fight. So I wanted to we'll go to something else here. I wanted to correct Sensei and Jasper. I think you'll appreciate this. Sensei called it soccer. It's actually not. It's actually football. So if you could never say that again. Sensei, that'd be
Oh my
great.
Let's
gosh.
go, Wade.
Get
Let's
outta
go.
here, dude.
You were
Get
talking
outta
mad
here,
shit
bro.
earlier on
Get
Twitter,
outta
dude.
here. He's
This
just trying to
guy.
set you up, Jasper. You're talking to a Southerner, dude, right here.
What do you mean, brother? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, this Southerner bullshit.
There's only one kind of football to this man, and it's a pigskin.
And it's with an actual round ball played with your feet.
Let's talk about it, man.
Football.
Let's talk about it. So
Ugh. Yes.
well, we won't go like down the rabbit hole because Sensei and I have done this, and we just can't seem to win the people over. But Jasper is a representative of the people in this podcast. We won't take too long because I know Jasper's got to get out of here. But yes, I did put a very provocative Twitter poll up.
It was
Basically,
just very ignorant.
Basically-
Wade, come on.
Here we go. I didn't even get to start yet. Basically saying that I thought, I don't know the exact wordage, I don't have it in front of me, but I thought that the U.S., with the same infrastructure and time to learn the sport, would dominate in the world of soccer/football, given, I didn't even put the time frame on it, but given like, let's say 50 to 100 years.
I want to give you some credit, though, because obviously in a country with 300 million people, you're going to have...
That's a big point, by the way, that I think a lot of people aren't taking.
It's fair. Because Holland, we're a country with 17 million people.
Yeah.
But we're known as one of the...
Per capita, you guys probably overproduce, right?
Yeah, we're a very good country for football.
Right.
Even though we're a very small country, because
Right.
just the way the Dutch football school, they call it, it's very popular. We produce a lot of legendary players.
There you go.
But what I would say is that no country is a number one country in football for a very long time. There hasn't been, in the very old days, like very, very early, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you had some countries that dominated a little bit more. But now in the modern game, there's not been a country that's been dominating the world of football for a very long time. I don't even think that there's been a country that won back-to-back World Cups. Those are every 4 years. That's what I'm saying. Like, the dominating a type of football is just too crazy for that.
The word dominating was probably.
I think dominate,
the reach there.
like dominating.
Yeah, and
I think they would be more
dominating doesn't
competitive.
exist in football. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It doesn't. It just
Right.
doesn't exist.
Here's the question. Obviously there are countries. Is there a country? This is going to sound so stupid. Is there a country as big as the United States as a total, like Russia? Right. I would assume they went pretty deep in the last World Cup. No. Russia did? And they got put out in the quarters or
I don't
something?
recall.
But yeah, I'm saying those countries would be the biggest comparison, right? I guess that I could make.
Well, because Russia, what happens is the bigger the country, they do more sports.
Exactly.
That's
the hard-
and I totally agree with
that.
that.
You get the split, so that's why it's hard to say that.
And plus, I think the number one sport
US
in
would
Russia is wrestling. So it's like,
Right.
But okay,
You
so
know what I'm
let's
saying?
say let's change the thing though. Like,
Yeah.
if the U.S. would, for the next 50 years,
yeah.
put all of their energy and time, and let's say all the kids in school and on the streets and whatever, they all go play football outside, like with a ball and like with their football, and then they go play, and then they grow up and they start playing in college and then, and go play at the clubs. Then U.S. would be an insane team, obviously, because
We'd be a contender.
100%, you would be a contender.
Right.
But again, the dominating thing that didn't make sense. And you were talking about a lot of like athletic stuff, like when this guy runs a 4 second, 400 meters.
Yes.
Like
4
This is true.
second 400, son.
those stats mean that's.
I use those stats, Jasper, because they're measurable. That's why I use them.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can measure, So I
The reason why you don't hear those numbers in football, European football, is because they're not as relevant.
they're not measured
as,
the same way. Yeah.
Well, they are measured.
They're measured, but
get,
not
like-
the same way. Like we measure a lot of like quick twitch, reaction time, straight line speed, change
do.
direction, right?
But they're not as relevant to the game as they might
Right.
be
So
in
I guess
in
what
US
would
football.
you measure in soccer, football to be able to be relevant would not be the same as what you'd measure in American football or basketball. So it wouldn't. I mean, while I probably could make comparisons and say because X is this, then Y is this, it probably wouldn't be like a linear plane where you could compare both super accurately. I was just, if I'm using numbers, but
the straight line sprint speed you'll get a lot in football.
a lot of people were saying Mbappe is like ridiculously fast.
Yeah. Like the idea of that the US is the best athlete, they're the quickest and whatever, that's just bullshit because
I'm telling you. The reason I say this, okay, I'll give you the one thing that I can't move off of, and this is where I'll the only thing that I'll be able to like not move off of. Mbappe's speed with the ball at his feet is crazy, right? Like it's hard to find a guy in the US that could do that. But what I'm saying is if I have a guy that's naturally already an Olympic level sprinter, right? Naturally, that just has an athletic ability to gain that kind of speed. And that's a guy like Tyreek Hill. And it's a 1-to-1 comparison, and I know that's not necessarily fair.
Yeah. Right.
But if he trains in the same way as a young lad to then become an adult athlete that also can run as fast as he naturally can run, but now he knows how to control a football, I don't know how you take a guy that is, again, 200-meter runs it in sub 21.
But is that on? Does he run that on track?
He runs it on track and on the NFL
on the grass, on turf field,
on grass,
on turf. Okay, fair.
Whatever.
That's the thing. The only thing, see about American football, you have like two positions. You have receiver and DBs, who those guys train, and running back. They train. It's like very specific positions, and they train like literally Olympic sprinters. So if you, it's hard because then you're just comparing speed. You're not talking about the game. So it's like, he may be faster, but they train literally like Olympic sprinters.
But let's do
those positions.
Let's do this because obviously I'm never going to convince Jasper of this, right? That's not going to happen. But I will concede points that I did make some generalizations and using the word dominate is probably because we do have dominant sports in the U.S. Like we do.
Yeah, it's a very American thing to exaggerate everything. 100%.
Well, no. I will say this: we do dominate, but we the truth is I even say, as an American athlete, we dominate, but other countries don't play the sports that we play.
Exactly,
so,
and they're not their first sports, like basketball, right? Basketball's not a lot of countries' first sport.
We're starting to see, since basketball has gotten bigger across the world, the last couple MVPs have been non-American.
Exactly. But I am 100% rocking with the U.S. to win group in the World Cup.
What's the U.S. group again?
U.S., England. Hold on. I'll explain. Wales, which is no joke, obviously.
Nope.
And Iran. Tell me, Jasper, how you think that group shakes out. Does the U.S. get out of group, and do they win group? And I will bet you if you say no.
So, what I think, Iran is the least
Iran 4.
favorite. Iran 4, I would say. But again, the thing about football is, and this is totally different than U.S. sports, because when you guys play playoffs or big games or big tournaments or whatever, it's always a best of 5, best of 7. Like, there's a lot less chance in that sense. In football, it's 1 or 2 games. It's like, and crazy shit can happen in 2 games or 1.
Yeah, so more like American football.
Exactly. Yeah.
American football is do or die.
Okay, fair enough. So there's a lot, like, you have crazy upsets, right? It's very hard to predict, but you would say Iran would be 4th. Okay. You would say either Wales or U.S. 3rd.
Oh, this is disrespectful now, bro. Come on.
The
U.S. 3rd?
Listen, Wales has Gareth Bale because it's 1 game, and Gareth Bale can have the night of his life. Sure. He could make that 1 goal. It's a very low-scoring sport, so it could be it's moments, right? It's finesse, it's moments, it's seconds that determines everything.
Right.
So that's why I would say Wales, US 2nd, 3rd. Like that's going to be I would say a close one. England is the favorite. Obviously, the favorites. They were in the European finals that they lost against Italy. But I would have to say, England is notorious for World Cup failure and choke.
Choking at the World Cup. They're notorious for it.
Honestly, they are the best footballing. Like, the league is the best in the world, arguably, with the Spanish league. But you would say England, the Premier League, is the best league. Yeah. They have some of the greatest talents. They have the best facilities. They have the best everything. Football was made in England. If I would have to say for a bet, it's going to be England. Mm-hmm. Wales, US.
Okay. All right. I will put down.
Alrighty.
$100 of my own money. I think this is my bet, okay? The U.S. has never lost to England in the World Cup. They've only played them twice.
How many times have they played?
They played twice. Beat them in 1950 and tied them because your boy, I don't know the goalie's name, but he choked and let one in the 2010 World Cup. The U.S., the last time they were in group with England, one group, 2010. I know it's a long time ago.
It's just a revolution.
Wait, that's
all over
still
again.
It's not bad though, right? I'm bringing some facts here. The last two times that the U.S. has been in the World Cup, they got out of group. Right?
Okay.
So,
yep.
This is all I'm working off of.
It's another revolution.
This is my bet to Jasper if you are willing to take it. $100 on the line. The U.S.
Hundo.
I feel like making it out of group is not worth it for you. But again, I feel like I'm slanting my hand here if I say the U.S. wins group. But fuck it, I don't care. The U.S. wins group, $100.
USA.
Okay, I'm down for I'm down for that.
Virtual shake.
Honestly, I will shake on it. And the thing is, I would gladly pay the $100 because the football is so beautiful because there's upsets and there's storylines.
That's what I'm saying. I think people get this like idea about me that I am like so American centric that I don't care. Like I'm just doing it to be.
You are, but that's fine.
I want to. I want to support him, right? I do. When I was a kid in 2010,
and that's the start of how U.S. becomes a better footballing nation.
Things happen in the way they are. I'm going to go out on another limb here, right in front of Jasper and God himself. The U.S. wins the World Cup in 2026.
2026.
2076.
2026. The U.S. wins the World Cup.
I will literally pay you all my life savings if the U.S. win World Cup. Either it's a massive bribe and everything's corrupt, or you're losing all your money.
Jasper, how mad would you be if U.S. won World Cup? Like we became like the #1 team in soccer too.
Oh my God!
It's not even a real it's not even a real thought. It's not even a real thought in my head. That's a reality. That's like Sensei. That's
Americans.
like me saying, "What would you say if I became the best dunker in the game?" Like, I'm 5'7", my guy.
If the U.S. guy,
listen, that's not happening for me.
All right, man. Let's one last thing before we get Jasper out of here. I need predictions for you, man. So let's do this. Rapid fire predictions.
KSI's winning.
Okay, KSI versus opponent. You're saying KSI, obviously. Let's go Gib and Austin McBrew.
It's a very tough one for me, but I will go with Gib.
Okay.
Yep, I think Gib is just relentless.
You think his cardio is going to be the difference in that fight?
I think because we obviously have seen Austin McBroom against Bryce, but I would say, if I would argue that Austin didn't feel intimidated or feel like he could get hurt against Bryce.
Yeah.
And I feel like he knows with Gib that he can swing and hit, and like it will put him in some tough positions. And I think that can, like, I'm absolutely not a boxing expert, but I feel like that can make a big difference mentally stepping into a fight like that. If you know after the first round, like this guy can hurt me, instead of Bryce obviously not being able to do anything really.
Yeah. That is the question.
That's how I would argue it.
That's the question. Yeah. Can Gib hurt him, or at least can Gib faint the level of respect out of Austin?
And if not, then Austin is not going to give him any respect, and then he could do well. But obviously, Gib is a little bit more technical than Bryce.
Yeah, of course. So you're going Gib there. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury.
Jake. Again, I am no boxing expert, but I've seen the last 2 or 3 Tommy Fury fights. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like Jake has more he's more intense. He's like a little bit more aggressive with it. Like I think he has now all these years under his belt, and he obviously knows what he's doing. He's training with a good camp and good trainer. So I don't know. I feel like he can really, really box now and have a game plan against someone like Tommy Fury. And I feel like Jake has more. He looks like he has more heart or something. I don't know.
Nah, you can tell that Jake. I mean, it's the same thing you're talking about with KSI. You know, with guys that just they have. Everybody talks about it. They have this dog in them, right? What they mean by that is that they will do things that others won't and work harder than others will, while not being necessarily as talented. Even though Jake does have some natural talent, it does feel like when Jake is fighting and when he's in camp, he just wants it more, right? He just wants to go in and create something, some kind of devastation more than you do.
Yeah, I'm still leaning into Tommy. I haven't seen Jake box a boxer. I haven't seen him box a boxer. I've seen Tommy box a boxer.
There's still so much we're going to have to look at when this fight, apparently, hopefully. I just saw a tweet this morning, and I tweeted out Anthony Joshua's possible fight date's the 13th of August. So Jake and them might be moving off that date. But
let me say this then before we move on to the next prediction. Let me say this then. I kind of hope Jake wins against Tommy Fury. Yeah. Like, how much bigger is Jake KSI going to be if they're both
That's true.
undefeated, like still haven't lost?
for Jake, to keep winning is obviously good for what we're doing here. Last prediction, will FaZe Jasper be fighting in 2023?
Oh, a 2023, I'm down. Listen,
right.
give me someone that makes sense. I honestly, if
You have a name in mind, by the way? Is there a name you're like, oh, that would make sense?
The problem is, and that's what Showstar told me as well. Like, Adam doesn't have a lot of options because of his weight.
His weight and skill level.
Yeah, exactly. Those are like crazy. So for me, I have kind of the same weight because I'm around like 145, 150.
Okay.
So I'm not that big of a guy. I just look a little bit bigger, but I'm a small human being.
Jacked.
Yeah, right. And that's all about it. And so who is there?
I mean,
I think Stromedy.
But maybe Creator Clash 2. Maybe Creator Clash 2, there might be somebody.
Some of those guys were a lot smaller. And I think even like you said, a guy like Stromedy would make sense. He has experience, It's a good,
Yeah,
I think a good little matchup to start out, and then
if you would give me a contract right now to say you fight in November or December this year, I would say yes against an opponent that's like, yes, he can have some experience more than me. That's fine.
Like, we're like me. Listen, show me the money. You know what I'm saying? Show
Not even
us
that.
the
Honestly,
money.
I wouldn't like the money. For me, it would be the experience.
Money.
Honestly,
Pay us.
there it is, man. He is Jasper. What else you got coming up, man? Let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your fitness stuff. Talk to the people.
go to honestly follow me on Instagram, Fit by Jasper, and I do offer online coaching if you're interested in that. I can help you get fit and get in better shape, lose weight, gain muscle, whatever you want to do. I got you.
Yes.
Hopefully a lot more things coming up. Who knows that I might be going back to Mr. Beast. It's a very impulsive thing, so I could be going there.
He said impulsive, folks. He said impulsive. He's gonna go and hang out with Logan. He said,
"Oh shit! Oh, I didn't mean that." But no. So a lot of stuff can happen. There's nothing concrete in the pipeline right now in terms of traveling or working with someone, but a lot of things can happen very fast. With these guys, like, you got to hit them at the right time, or you got to connect with them. We'll see. But follow me on Instagram. I appreciate you having me on my podcast. I own this.
Exactly.
I own this, all right?
There it is, man. Folks, episode 6 of The Breakdown. Thank you, Jasper. Appreciate you coming on. We are out of here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe here. We're only getting bigger, more guests, more podcasts, more everything coming up. We will see you next time. Peace.
Goose.